Hey everybody, it's Gypsy, and welcome to On the Edge of Appalachia. It is Sunday, I think June 8th, 2025. And I'm on my way to the flea market. There's only 2 more weekends left in this season. So I've got 2 weeks, then I get 2 months off, and we're back at it again the beginning of September. I could use the couple months, but I actually love vending at flea markets, especially this one, because I don't have to keep packing up every day and resetting up every morning. Anyways, I'm one of those people who kind of doesn't say much about things, and I kind of like to sit back and observe, and then after I observe for a while, then I'll spout my mouth. And I feel like maybe I've reached one of those times where I'm feeling like I want to spout my mouth. So anyways, I've been watching what's been going on. And I'm going to tell you, ever since I was a little girl, as far back as I can remember, I thought, man, Earth is crazy. I didn't specifically say Earth back then, but it was more of a feeling of, this place is crazy, and how long do I have to deal with this? Life, humanity. I would watch other people. I love to watch people. And I would think, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to do this. I don't want to be like those people. And not wanting to be like the rest of society made it harder for me to survive. But one of the big things, and maybe the biggest, is politics. You watch that circus, and it's like, this place is crazy. I mean, you have to think that. I don't care which side you're on, liberal, conservative. I'm sorry, if you're paying attention, you got to be thinking, oh, this is nuts, because it is. It's all crazy. But there is a lot of things I have picked up on through my life, but mostly over the last few years, recent years. A lot of it, although some of it is real, a lot of it is more like a play, like they're acting things out. And especially lately, it seems obvious to me when it happens. Now, again, I could be wrong. What do I know? But this is my observation. So I'm going to take the most recent one. I mean, I have a list, but this one, this thing between Elon Musk and the president. The very first day I heard about it, my first feeling I got, and it was a very strong one. It is intuitive. I'm not saying I'm right, but my first thought was, they're faking it. They're just fooling around. There is a definite purpose for it. It's one thing I have found, and I learned this through his first presidency, that our president will say things sometimes just for shock value. Sometimes he says things, although they don't sound subtle, they are subtly getting a message across to us or someone else. And I think a lot of it is more or less a teaching moment. Now, I am not going to say he's exactly a teacher, not really. Believe me. I'm not going to go there because it'd be too hard to explain. I feel he does things on purpose to get points across. It's not real. They're up to something. So, I remember a year ago, with these huge bills that they try to pass through that have their thousands and thousands of pages that are supposed to be read and made a decision upon. over a very short period of time, which is really not humanly possible. Now, we all know the reason that they do this is they make the surface look good. They make it look like something we all want. But then there's other stuff stuck in there. And what really pisses me off is totally unrelated. What is this all doing in one bill? Things we wouldn't want. So they make it that, well, if you really want this, say a tax cut, you want this big tax cut, you got to pass this bill regardless of what else is in there. And last year I was telling my man, I said, that shit has got to stop. It's got to stop. We have to stop falling for it. We have to stop doing it. They have to stop just writing them like that. These bills, I think, need to be singular and smaller, so it is humanly possible to read them and understand them and make an informed decision on them. Okay, so this was a year ago. Biden was still president. We hadn't even gotten to the election yet. I think a lot of the stuff, and again, I'm telling you, maybe I'm wrong. And if I am, I am. I mean, people are wrong all the time. I'm not going to boo-hoo over it. I'm not going to get upset because somebody doesn't agree with me. We're all entitled to our own opinions. And so if you disagree with what I'm saying, you're entitled to that. You're not entitled to be mean. No, we don't do mean. Anyways, I think, okay, when he came up with this big, beautiful bill, I was shocked because I was under the impression that this president was going to shrink government, which means, well, if you're going to shrink government, you're not going to try sneaking shit into a bill everybody's going to like and sneak in that kind of stuff in. So I was shocked he did that. I was like, all right, this isn't making sense to me. And everybody, the big, beautiful bill. I'm like, okay, this part of the bill sounds good to me, but it's a big bill. What else is in there? I need to know what else is in there because I don't know if I like it or not because I don't have all the details. I don't have all the information. And I'm thinking, why would he do this? Because I have seen situations since he was president where he is encouraging the citizens to think for themselves and take matters into their own hands. Yet he comes up with this bill. I mean, so I know some of you will disagree with me on that, maybe all of you. I remember, I think it was maybe end of January, beginning of February. It was in California. About the fires, which was a very sad situation. And he was meeting with members of government in California, like, the governor, Mayor Bass, and they were sitting around kind of like a U-shaped table. Well, across from that U-shaped table, they were citizens of the area. They came to the meeting too. And when one of them would stand up and voice a complaint, a concern, whatever, a lot of times the president would point to that person and say, okay, because I wasn't aware of this, I agree with you on this, why don't you get a few of your neighbors together and create a committee to, all right, clean up this area or whatever the issue was. And my first thought was, oh my God, he is showing everybody we need to be more self-sufficient. Don't rely on the government because obviously it's not going to get you anywhere. If you want something done and you want it done right, you do it yourself. And I felt like that's what he was showing us. And I was amazed. I really enjoyed watching a committee meeting, which isn't, I don't usually like watching that boring stuff. But I was amazed at what he was doing. Now, I don't know if anybody caught that, but I'm always looking for stuff, positive or negative, because I feel the need to look deeper. I I need to look deeper and find out what's really going on. And again, I don't know if I'm reading it right, but I had a feeling I was. So anyway, so when he came up with the big, beautiful bill, okay, the big part, I found concerning. The beautiful part, yeah, well, I'll accept that, but the big means we are never ever going to understand what's in there because there's just too much. So, okay, so what's hidden in there? One of the things I found out was something about AI. AI, anything that is unnatural, I guess. I have trouble with that. Unnatural, if you're going to try to change, and I know this isn't really AI, but change the makeup of humans, I get concerned. Therefore, somebody like Elon Musk, he does things I think are wonderful. But on the other hand, he has ideas and says he's going to do stuff that I find frightening and I don't agree with. Because I can't agree with someone 100%. Now, this brings me kind of to the point I think maybe President Trump is trying to make. Okay, the big, beautiful bill. Well, people who are diehard Trump supporters, oh, well, yeah, it's got to pass because I trust the president implicitly, and so it's got to pass because I know he would never do anything to hurt us or our country. I agree with a lot of the stuff the president does, but I can't. I don't have the ability to trust someone implicitly, especially in a situation like this where it's political. I can't. I don't. I mean, I might like the majority of what a person does, but I don't. Believe me, always. Even people I'm close to, and we see eye to eye in most stuff, there will eventually come a topic where we don't see eye to eye. I can't, because I'm a unique being, I cannot agree with someone 100% of the time. Now, I think that maybe President Trump might be trying to show us that. I think too many people are doing the idol worship thing again. And let's face it, idol worship is how our country and this planet got in this mess. You vote in somebody you like, and all of a sudden you think they can do no wrong. And you trust them. And you just vote yes on their side 100% of the time without thinking critically. Now, I know this all sounds crazy. Why would a president do that? He's not supposed to. He shouldn't do that, etc. It's always been dangerous because, you know what? This big, beautiful bill thing, it's not the first one. He's not the first one to try to get that by. It's been going on forever. That's how they pull the wool over our eyes and get control of us, and they take away our freedoms, take more of our money, etc., etc. Like the AI thing. I mean, what exactly does that mean? Is AI going to control us? I mean, what's going on? Well, yeah, I would have questions about that. And I'm sure there's a lot more in that bill I would have questions about if, but it's overwhelming because, well, it's not just beautiful. It's big. It's big. I have a very busy life. So I think, and I have seen, and I saw him do this with his first presidency. I was a Democrat back then. And I was shocked to wake up the next morning and learn, this was 2016, the day after my birthday, I think it was. I wake up to find out he won the presidency. I was shocked. And I was concerned. I was worried. I was told he was going to do all this horrible stuff. Now, the one that comes to mind first, because it is personal to me, look at those cuties, was everybody kept saying he was going to do away with same-sex marriage. And I was very concerned about that. And so I said, well, he won. There's nothing I can do about it now. So the only thing I could do is observe. See what happens. So when I sit back and I observe and I watch what happens, I think that's when I'm most likely to learn the truth. Because guess what? There's still same-sex marriage, and, well, he's now elected again to be president. It never happened. So maybe he said something to indicate he might just see. I don't know, maybe he had a purpose to it. And maybe he didn't say it at all. Because what I'm also finding is people get bent out of shape about things that, well, didn't happen, or aren't happening, or aren't going to happen. We got to stop doing that too, because when you're doing that, you're not watching, you're not observing. And I'll admit I'm guilty of that too. We all do it from time to time. But anyways, I'm with this situation with Elon. I mean, I barely got to think about it when I got this kind of zap from my higher self saying this isn't real. You know, it's kind of like, well, when I first heard about COVID, my first thought was like, danger, danger. I mean, it was like, I got this very strong intuitive feeling that this is not what it appears to be, and we need to be careful. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I said it's not what it appeared to be. Anyways, what I'm saying is, this thing that's going on right now is not what it appears to be. And so many times, it isn't what it appears to be. Whether it is President Trump, Elon Musk, or any other person, any person. You have to take into consideration that it might not be what it appears to be. And sometimes you just need to observe quietly and watch and find out what's really going on. Now, again, I'm going to say, what do I know? I don't. This is my observation and my intuition. And I could be wrong because I am a fallible human being. So anyways, I don't think what's going, and a lot of times, you know, when I watch the circus that goes on in this world, I mean, all of it, not just the president and Musk. I'm talking about all of it, and I mean all across. It's a lot of the stuff I will think is almost funny, entertaining, until we get to the point where we're, well, being destructive and destroying property, and worse yet, deleting physical lives. You can't ever delete that person on a spiritual level, but you can delete their physical lives, and you don't have the right to do that. No matter what you think about how right you are, you don't have that right. And like our mothers always told us growing up, two wrongs don't make a right. But anyways, I just think that this circus, this fiasco that's going on right now, I don't think it's real. I'm not quite sure exactly what they're up to. I do find it kind of funny. Something like this I find funny. So, you know, especially like if they're like acting like children, it's like, I find it funny. Anyways, there's something else going on there that maybe I'm wrong, but I do believe, even if I'm wrong about what it is, it's not what it seems, and there's something else going on. So, yeah, there's a lot of things that happen that I feel that way about, but this one I can't stop laughing about. Anyways, I'm going to leave you with that. Blessed be, and make it a joyful one.